Hey guys, thanks for watching this again. I promised you I'd do a tutorial of that drawing based off of the last video about composition. First, I just want to show you this little rig I did. So the phone sits back here, and I kind of did that so that I could show you what I was doing. But I just want you to know that this whole setup represents you when you're looking through your viewfinder, and that's just important. So um, I wanted to show you a couple of things today. I'm not going to do a full render drawing, but first I want to talk about reference lines, which ones are important, and hopefully I'll be able to upload the picture or the reference that I'm looking at, or was looking at. I'm now going to use a picture because I can't set up where I would normally set up to do the drawing. But this process can and should be for you applied to life drawing, which is drawing from observation from life. Okay, so all right, so in that picture, and hopefully you can see it when I upload it. Um, there are reference lines that are really important in terms of getting the drawing started. And it's oftentimes, and I do it myself, where we make things too complicated in the beginning, which then screws us up throughout the process. So um, reducing what you're seeing through the viewfinder into the simplest form of what's important. And that's a really good question. What is important in your composition that you're going to draw? Well, for sure, floor lines are the most important. Where they sit on the page and what angle they're at is really important. Okay, if you have a table, table lines are really important. Where is the table? Is it the top of it way up here, and then it goes back, or is the table down low, which sets you up for a sort of still life drawing? So table lines, floor lines, corners of the rooms where one wall shifts to another is really important, because if you think of it this way, there would be nothing on the walls if you don't figure out where the walls are first. Same difference with a still life. There would be no objects if there wasn't a table, and in turn, there would be no floor if there would be no table if there wasn't a floor. So working backwards is really important in which to work forwards. Okay, so I did some reference lines here for that composition, and I want to talk about it a little bit. And I even did a few extra. It's easy to want to do more, but the number one most important line I think in this drawing is this diagonal here. And if you notice, it's sort of what I mean by splits it in half is that this distance is the same as this distance. So and then this distance is pretty much the same as this distance. So it's equal. These are sort of two equal shapes, okay? Now, even though this runs through the center, it doesn't mean that everything else in the drawing is going to be equal. It's just that is the most simplistic, most important line, I think so, in the drawing, because this determines what is becomes inside and what is outside, okay? So this is sort of the windowsill line here. And this will become more complex, but in the beginning, this is the most important. So I have this stool here that's in the front foreground, and that these lines sort of are parallel to each other. I have this table, which is the next thing. So I have one, two, then I go to this wall, then I'm outside. So outside meaning here. All right, and then I have this wall, which is the interior line that looks outside. Here's the edge of the window. So that's the simplest sort of thing in terms of getting started. If you can do this, then you can put more details in, and this helps you organize things. So if you screw up at this point and you start with values, and let me remind you, I'm using Vine charcoal, not charcoal or Conchi to draw because they're less forgiving. And I have made some mistakes in the next drawing, so I use Vine charcoal to start. So try not to make that mistake, and it will make things much easier for you to manipulate and fix. Okay. So once again, this is these lines, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's about 10 lines here. That's all you need to get this drawing started, okay? You could even take one step in advance, and I know that this line continues to go. However, we don't see it because of the pot. So we can, you know, you could just really much lighter than I did. I just did it so you could see it really. But we know that this pot goes in front, okay? All right, so let's take this one step further. Okay. Now I have something that is a little more articulate. So I've included some lines outside. I did them a little darker so you could see them. But here I have the window, and then I have outside kind of drawn in. I have you can't see it, so I'll darken it. This is the sidewalk, and then the road and the driveway that goes down. So all right, so I'm already thinking about the deepest space. Now look at the diagonals in this drawing. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got lots of space going on. I've got a pretty interesting composition. The center is fairly open. Not only is the center open, but it's also going to be light. So the dark in this drawing is really going to come forward, okay? So I started with a really simple drawing, and then I made it about as complex as I want to, because I want to start doing the values. Now, I'm going to do the values in a separate video because this is already 9 minutes, and I don't want to go further than 10. But we've gone over reference lines, which ones are important for your drawing. I'm going to go over working light to dark. You have to make a plan of attack. So I'll go over that in the next video. All right, I hope this is helpful for you guys. And again, I'm going to send a questionnaire out, but I really want you guys to ask questions. It's hard for me to know what you all are struggling with, if you know, and it really helps me if you ask questions. So always feel free to ask questions. Okay, I'll see you guys again.